Okay, Nun Ches in Sifra D'tzniuta, where we have like 3 minutes, 5 minutes. Uh, so starts like this. He says there's a formation here. It's Vayak. What does this mean? He says this combination of 3 letters, Vayak, who sewed yichud zer v'nuk. This is the secret of the yichud of Zocha v'nuk. But that means a time when actually there's already been a tikkun in the yisod of the nuk. Os vav romez the zer anpin, because the letter vav itself is a reference to zer anpin shuhu os vav, which is a vav shel shem havaya. We don't have a problem with that. Kamo came romez os vav beprato, so specifically the letter vav itself. L'teferes, the yisod shel zer anpin. So if you're looking, so the teferes the Yisod, it refers also to the Pharis and the Yisod is their anpin. Kihain kololim called the Shisha Kitzvahs, because why it's a Vok. That's why. The Oz Yud, Roma, what's the Yud? He says the Yod Roma is the Oz Yud Ketana Shel Ataras Yisod. This is the little Yud that refers to the tip of the Yisod. Vos Hey, and then the letter Hey, Roma is the Nukva. So he said what you got here is this is similar to what the okay, I'm not going to say anything. Os Hey Romas, the Nukva, is a reference to the Nukva, Os Hey Shel Shem Avaya. V'gam Romas, Os Hey Beprata is the Yisod, the Nukva. So specifically, you really want to know, it really refers to the Yisod of the Nukva. Shenik Nasim Besocho Hey Gavuros, where the 5 Gavuros go into the Nuk. The Mavar, so he explains like this, Ki Tachlas a Yichud, Hulamatek a Gavuros a Kosher. The concept of this whole Yichud is to sweeten the Gavuras, which are so hard and difficult, should be Yisod and Nukva, which are in her Yisod. And he says, Kuntrim the Kitur, they're bound together in big dinim. Hadinim Akasha Shiniskasha Besocha Hamesh Gavuros, which are inside of these 5 Gavuros. The Be'itim, Haim Shekuyim, they're sunk in there, Bechek HaNukva, into the palate of the Nukva. Now I'm not sure what he means by the Chek. Shuhu sod shkias rechem anukva, which is a concept of entering in, I guess, or pushing it into the womb of the nukva. So this is the concept. What did he say? The keturah, the itvikum, heim shekuyim b'chek hanukva. They're sunk into the chek of the nukva, which he says refers to her womb. So shkias rechem anukva, sink it in there deep. And shekha b'sochan is kapsu called the dinim alalu, which is where you find all these bad dinim. And it's a place of where the Yisod of the Chura goes in, so the Zivug, that's the same place where the Zivug takes place. And then, in other words, that's the extension, the full extension. Zera Begavacha Ishtaka. Vishasa Zivug, so therefore, when the time comes for the actual Yichud, Niknas Os Yud Kitana, this little Yud, shall the Taras Yisod Besoch Os Hey, it goes into this letter Hey, which represents the Shel HaDinim and Kashim, which represents the 5 Dinim that are inside of there. Umoshech HaChasadim, and it pulls in the Chasadim that are coming B'fia Amma, that are coming from Zeranpin, as easy so. And Mamatek is a Dinim, it sweetens up the Dinim over there. V'zeh HaVesod Sirif Gimel Osios V'yak. This is the concept that we have here. We start with Zeranpin, it goes into the little Yud, which is his Taras Yisod, and finally ends up in the womb of the Nuk. Ki Os is Vavke, Haim Sod Zer V'Nuk, because those letters really refer to Zocher V'Nuk. He said now, and the Os Yud, as we said before, who sewed the Torah HaNikna B'Sod Os Hey B'Sod the Yichud. That's what actually makes the Yichud right at that place. Okay, that's it right now. Yeah, God willing. Starting again on page Nun Test. So here we go. So he says, he's supposed to sweeten them. This is what he was doing. The hexer osam panim bepanim, and cause them to come panim bepanim. Oznis daveg ada berisham im chava. So then they make a yichud. They laholud kain behevel. Now, it's kind of a little bit clumsy, but the idea is that they come to yichud, and this is what they're supposed to do. But they give birth to kain behevel. His order the zivug elyon. This caused this yichud that he was having Zivug elyon shel zer v'nuk. Is basbach bedinim bo atika. Vaz ratza Eric Anpin, and then what happened was Eric Anpin wished a nikra atika. The das ha'im nisbas mam tgo hadinim. So when this yichud took place, and it's taking place in the zach of v'nuk of Etzilus and the arich of Etzilus, which is the panemius of Etzilus, he wants to know ha'im nisbas v'nim tgo hadinim the gamri, if the dinim had been completely sweetened up. Whether through Adam Arishon Allah, did he get it done or not? The fi shochoya oz, because then there were shnei bechinos the histafek bezez. There's two different stadim. Two different ways. The histafek bezez. Kimitzad echod tikun Adam Arishon, but if he lost himself b'masm tovim, because in one way you look at it, he did with his tefillos and the good things he did. But on the other hand, he messed up. He corrupted everything. He wound up eating the Eitzadas. And not only that, but there was another sin over here, what we see over there in the Sharkavanos. He said, that actually the yichud that he made was not on the right day. And he didn't wait to Shabbos. So then we see that there's two different things going on here. They're opposites. So since the ultimate purpose of the yichud, the mateg gavuros of adinim hakashim, is really to sweeten up dinim. Lekach rotzer Eric Anpin to das ha'im achen nismatku hadinim al yedech zivug zer v'nuk. So he wants to know. Eric Anpin wants to see, did it actually something get sweetened over there? Shagara mada berisha b'yom b'shish yolo. So whether or not the fact that he had the yichud at the right time. So Eric Anpin is looking to see what's going to come out from this. So he says whether it was on the 6th day or not. So then we see coming over like this, and he gave birth to Cain to Hevel. He said that the dinim were not really sweetened at all. Ela adarab, garam ada berisha begam b'kol alomos. He caused it as a result of this a begam in all of the worlds. V'nizgavra b'dinim b'kashim, and then the dinim b'kashim gained strength and became powerful and controlled. Ki asa chabehivi chabecha, and this is a concept that we hear in different places. Because here you see in the Medrash says that the chivya came into the nuk. Bocha nachash the klipa ala nukva onto the upper nukva. So here we're talking about malchus. So the davar. So what is he really talking about? Shacha klipa shacha Elohim acherim. So the klipas of these other gods. Nechlala b'shem Elohim kadoshim. Elohim kadoshim. They got incorporated with the good. In other words, the sweetened dinim got incorporated with the bad dinim. Hamakif b'chutz, which are always surrounding them, the yisod, the zer anpin, which are always around the yisod, the zer anpin. He said, these are the, I guess he means the klipos. He says, so now when the yichud takes place, it's as if he's bringing the nachash in. The nachash, the klipa, hitil az benukva. So then what happened was, instead of bringing something else out good, he says he put inside of the nukva zuhama shel dinim kashim, the poison of these really bad dinim got mixed in with the good stuff too, and it took over. And this river lo yochlo l'ismatek dinim. For this reason, it's starfless of these two opposing forces. They were not able to become sweetened. V'chagavuras de nukva, and it was not the dinim. V'chagavuras de nukva were not sweetened. V'kina de duham is talking b'gavo. So then, what happens if achakach? So what actually happens? Because zer anpin is davar being a nukva. So when zer anpin actually has a yichud with his nukva, v'hishbia b'zera the bechinas kayin, and he puts actually her a zera into her. The aspect of Kain. Just 1 second. Let me make a little adjustment here. Let me see. Okay. Let me see where I was. The Bechinas Kain. Azan asa of an isake besoch yisod the nukva. So now, as we had that really nice description of what yichud could be, is now placed into the yisod of the nukva kan, a nest, a moshiv, and a dwelling place. El zahama the klipa zanachash, a shekibla menachash from the poison. In other words, it's a place for this to reside. It's a home. Ki hazachama rabeshal the nachash nitnas ba'osa hazer, and then again the nachash is the concept of the histarfus of the klipa with the kedusha. Ba'osa hazer shel kain, so it produces the zera of kain. V'zera of kain na'asa kan la'osa zahama. So now it's a home base for the zahama. Lema'avid bedura bisha. Madur the klipa haruah. So now the klipa's got a place to live. Small, because now what's happening is that the bad, which is the concept of left here, which is the klipa, which is the most hard or difficult. Just 1 second. There we go. This will be better. Small shuhu haklipa hayoser kosher, the zuhama yoser takiv v'chazak, and then it's also a poison which is more powerful, more strong. But the higher the tailor this kain, and she got pregnant, and she gave birth to kain. The high nekina the bedurach the ruchim bishin of ilulim v'kapurim askan be. Here's a translation. So in other words, that yichud, I'm not sure what he means by this. He means that he has that kavanah. His kavanah is that he's going to bring Zachav and Nuk together. Chava as Kain, but instead she gave birth to Kain. So he says Shuhu Lashan Khan. And once again, the concept of a nest. Khan Mado, the Ruchas Ros. This is a place where bad spirits can live. The Sa'aros and destructive winds, the Shadim, etc. And going on with demons, which were all put together within the seed of Cain. Now here we go like this, and we're coming to the end of this piece. Well, not yet. Bahai Adam. So he says, Adam Elyon Shuhuzer Anpin. So now that we're coming, in other words, I think it has to do with Kavanah. So this Adam Azer Anpin. Ketrin Beklal Uprat is Kolalo. Now this is a way of categorizing it. Nechlala Baguf of Israel, so it's incorporated of, let's say, a body and arms, Toshalo, as a spheros. So his body and his arms are 10 spheros. 10 spheres the Gedusha, Hanikwaim Kisrin Eloim Besol Klal Uprat. I'm sure I understood this. He said there was a concept here called Kisrin Beklal Uprat. So the crowns are like a general category, and then details of it. Iskalalu. Let me read it again. The chlala beguf is rao, so incorporated in the body and the arm shalo. Esses spheres are 10 to 6 spheres of kedusha. And nikram kisrim and loim, which are called the upper crown. So klalu prat, and they're in the category of categories and details. The Indian is like this: ki haguf shuhu spheres hatiferes. That the body, which is Tiferes, Nikra Klau. So it's a general idea. It incorporates all the spheros. The fish Nechlalimbo, Shar spheros, because the 10 spheros, I don't know how he counts. So he said, but the spheros are all in there. Vahazros, now the arms themselves, Shehem spheros Chesed Gavur, which are those 2 spheros, Nikraim Prat, because they're a part of the Guf. They're part of the 6 of the Vok of Zeradpen. The Gavur Nikwaim Prat, the feet Shahaz Rose, and the Pratim La'es spheres, because the arms themselves are divided into 10 spheres, Pratios, Shehem Sod Esed Bos Yudayim, which is the secret of the 10 fingers of the hands. Now, this sounds familiar. So if you look at it like that, so you have the cloud, which is the body, including the arms, but the arms have the hands and the fingers. Kodem the prat, it came first. Shehem azros, which are the arms. The prat is the arms. Shaharek of roas mispashtem haguf, because the arms, they stand out from the body. Because achizas asroas hu beguf, and the whole way that the arm is all held on to the body. For Amar od bepratu klal, but then it comes and it says that it's a prat and then the klal. Ki yesh kisrim tetoim, because there are lower crowns shenechlala besod pratu klal, prat klal, that are incorporated in the secret of the prat klal. Behem eser spheres the kitzonim hanechlorim b'raglayim ba'arlam, hanechlalim b'raglayim ba'arlam. That's all new territory here for me. So he says there's this concept of prat klal. What are they? They're the 10 spheros of Hitzonim. Hitzonim to me means klipos. And the chlalim, which are also attached to or incorporated into the feet and the arla, over the amma. By Inyan, the Inyan is like this. Kavraglayim shehem spheros netzach and hod. Okay, fine, that's the legs. Nikrayim prat, they're the detail here. They're the detail, okay? The feet sharaglayim nifratim, because the legs, I don't know, nifratim eser spheres, they could be divided up into 10 spheres pratios, and each one of them has 10 spheres shahu sod es its bolus the raglayim, which is the toe. Okay, so that's the klal. The klal is the leg, and then it can be divided into 10 because you have 5 and 5 toe. Now going over to the arla, we're talking about the arla shes spheres the yisod nikwa klal. So over there, the yisod is called the klal. He says here, yisod kolo b'socho shefa netzach and hod, because everything that comes from netzach and hod comes over there. The shefa that comes from there comes into the yisod. For arla, now the arla on there, yo nekes ma'eser's bow, so it sucks off of the 10 fingers or the 10 toes. Now, I'm really trying to picture this in my mind, and it sounds like that the toes must be pulled, like a very short leg, so that it's really, in some way, above the yisod. I don't know how that works. For arla yonekas me'eser its bows, because the toes are there, the toenails are there, and the arla is able to take it. The arla yonekas sucks off of those toes. Two of them together are called the prat and the klal. So this way it goes like this. The yisod is down below netzach and hod. So that's the only way that you could say that. That the arla is sucking off of the toes because it's down, but it reaches up and gets it. It's netzach and hod. The arla mekabel b'shefa. Meha Eser its bows, and the arla gets the shefer from the 10 fingers, 10 toes. V'amar od shokim adroyim. Then he says there's also the concept of legs and arms. You mean it's smaller. Also the concept of right and left. Shokim v'zroa. So let's talk about legs and arms. Shalzer anpin she'enem b'kavim soy, because they're on the exterior. They're not in the middle line. Ela b'yamin is small shazer anpin, but they're on the right and the left. The ispala b'sitroi hine kan nifradim zer v'nuk l'shnei tzedadim. So this is where we see that the zer anpin and his nukva are divided into 2 different sides. Ki zer v'nuk, because you're only the bechinas ach ba'ach, when they're in that position, ach ba'ach, hema mechubar b'devukim b'guf shebekav emsoi. Their spines, so to speak, are like together, and so therefore in the middle line there, that's where they cling together. But when you're talking about the shukim, the zrosh b'shnei kavim yamin and small, which are not in the middle like that, they're not really bound together. Because he says, why? Because the legs and the arms of their anpin are not directly opposite keneged shokayim v'zroos. It's not there. Shel hanukva. So therefore it doesn't line up with the nukva. Mela nimsa shoshokim v'zroos their anpin. So therefore we see that the legs and the arms of their anpin nifradim v'nechlachim v'shokim v'zroos the nukva, and they're separated. They're not connected to the nukva, because the nukva is connected to their anpin down the middle. I'm not sure what that told me. Kushin is basel of the nimtava who gevuras their anpin. So now, when the gevuras of their anpin are sweetened, is stocking the char v'nuk. Then we see azai nimtava niskano zer v'nuk. That's when they became put together. V'bechinas panim b'panim, and that means their tikkun is that they're face to face. This is v'nizdavgu, and they make a yichud that they'll hold it at Shes to give birth to Shes. Shuhu kulu chesed v'rachamim, who's all that. V'omar then he says further, kizer v'nuk na'ase az besod shlosh osios Yaakov, because then we come back and we say that they can become these three letters. Yud dachar. So what you have is male and female. Yud is the dachar, ki os yud hu sod abba. The hey is a nukva. It's a female aspect. V'od os hey hu sod ima. So that's ima. What about the vav? Those vav hu sod zer v'nuk. It's a concept of zocha v'nuk together. Hakol and yachad, who are joined together. So the yichud, which that is that. So now this is the concept of. I had an interesting story. This rabbi came up to me with his son, and he says to me, "Tell me the first word that comes to your mind. About when I say Torah, what's the first word that comes to your mind?" And I say Yaakov. And he said, "What?" I said Yaakov. He said that's because that is what came to my mind. Maybe just I've read this. I don't know. So he said, "What do you mean, Yaakov?" No, Yaakov. Yud K Vav. He left, and then we went on. Let me go back again. V'os vav hu sod zer v'nuk aklulim yachad, and the concept that zacha v'nuk are also incorporated in this one letter vav. B'sod yichud, into oneness. V'az na'aseh b'bechinas guf echad, because then they become one body. Maybe Ryan, he brings a proof to this, and he says, like it's written like this. Shekasav zacha v'nekeva v'nukva v'nekeva barum. So he said that I created male and female, Adam, and I called their name by one name, the name Adam. So therefore, we're explaining over here in this pasuk. The Zalkav indicated that Adam, that concept of Adam, is Zalkav Benok, the Lashon Yichud. It's singular. V'hainu sod shneihem yachad b'shem, sod zer v'nuk mechlalim yachad. So this secret here, that the vav actually represents both of them together. V'ha'inyan aruz b'shem Adam, and you can understand it by the word Adam itself. Kizer anpen nikra Adam, that's his name. Ha'olul mispar ma, comes to the concept of ma, the count of ma. Besod Shem Kubaya B'milui Alofim, as we know, Yudal Ke Aleph Vav Ke Aleph. Olagam came the Mispar Ma, comes to the gematria of Ma. So we have this name and the word Ma. So Bahine, Mispar Osius Amili Bilvad, if you just take the Milui by itself, Shel Shem Avayach and Nizkar Shehem Vav Dalet Aleph and the Aleph Vav and the final Aleph, that comes to the gematria of 19, the Mispar 19, Shuhu Communion Havaya. What is a minion Havaya? How is Yotev Shahu Communion Havaya? What does that mean? Ola B'mispa Yotes Shahu Communion Havaya. He sewed Hanukva, which is the secret of the Nukva. So in other words, if you put them all together, it makes, I don't know, Havaya, this 19 and I'm not sure what. 19 from 45 is 26. So he said the Nimsiki Zer V'nuk Merumazim Shnechem B'midas Adam. So there we see that they're both referenced in the concept of Adam. V'amar Od Kibushashin is Nabdu Zer Anten V'nukva. That when the two of them came together, V'holid Shes, to give birth to Shes, the Yuknan Upartsufa the Adam Yasif Al Kursia. If you looked at their situation, it would be like a man, not in Islam, the Yukun and parts of Adam, a Yoshev Al Kisa. It fulfills this image, the image of a man sitting on his throne. That's actually what the oneness looks like. Ukasev also written like this, V'al demus akise demus kamare Adam Allah b'lamol. So he says, if you look at the image of this throne, as you can see, like his image of a man up above it. Pirush Adam who's their anpin. This Adam that's sitting on the throne is their anpin. The kisei who saw the nukva, the throne, is the secret of the nukva. So the yichud nikra adam yoshev al hakiseh. So if you want to say when they are together, it is as a male sitting on his throne. I use the word male. He uses the word Adam again. I think it's just every time he uses it, it's a little confusing, maybe. V'lashu ikur shleima shem Adam, and then you see that this is really the root of the name Adam. V'yinyan hu, see what? Ki be'es yichud zer v'nuk, with the time that they are completed together, mitzlavish erik anpin b'sot zer anpin. What happens then is that erik anpin is completely, I guess, revealed. He's mislavish in zer anpin, vaznim shachem mochem maroma ma'alos, and as a result of that yichud, if it's the right way and it's the proper way, then you have mochim that are coming down from the maroma ma'alos, because that's where Erik Anpin is attached to, and Ein Sof Baruch Hu, until it actually, that yichud actually has that very vivid connection there. And this causes the tying together of all of the your verses. And all of the different parts of the system of bringing light down below, brings it all into oneness. And this is the ultimate thing, that when we say the word Adam, is to bring everything into line of Zachar Anuk, Shahoy Naaseh, Beyichud zer benuk, they'll be make a yichud zer anpin, and the olive and shas to give birth to shas. Okay, that's it for today, right? Yeah, I'll work on it. Yeah.